Hey everyone, welcome back to turn 19. Now, the last one was a bit of a cliffhanger. We had a couple of shells in the air. One of them is aimed at the Yak Panther, which is up here, and another one is incoming from one of the Panthers heading towards the Jackson here. Now, obviously this is very exciting, and when we actually did this, I forgot to plug the microphone back in, and I spent a good 20 minutes talking to myself without actually recording anything. So just like the other one with the missing audio, I've had to go back and go over it again, because I have absolutely no idea what I was going on about in the actual footage. I'm just re-recording it right now. I'm going to be sticking the actual footage on the end, fast forwarded again, just like the last time I did this. And desperately trying to remember what actually happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to press go. We're going to find out what happens with those shells. So here we go. So they both hit, and they both failed to penetrate, which is always a blessing with the Jackson. Jackson shoots again, and it's hit a weapon on the Yak Panther up there.
Roger. Fire mission request. Out.
And again, yeah, another exchange there. A hit on the upper front hull of the Yak Panther, and a shell aimed for the Jackson down here has been intercepted by a tree, and another unfortunate person in the middle of the woods has had a bad day. You can see as we're going on here, this Gen's infantry push down here is really developing. Another hit on the front of the Yak Panther. Again, this is kind of annoying because I was consistently penetrating the front of the Yak Panther at this distance, and another one when I was testing it, which is, you know, obviously a little bit aggravating. But yeah, there we go. So let's see what happened to the Jackson first. Incoming shell coming in. Oh, didn't even see it. So front left turret, there we go. There's the I'll zoom in on the right bit. Yeah, so it's hit the turret, the edge of the turret there. Let's turn the trees off, see if we can't eyeball it coming in. No. Ah, there it is. Whew. So yeah, like, before we even got through the first second, it's hit. That's those high velocity German guns for you. Here comes the Jackson's shell. It's a Panther shell is 75mm and it's high velocity. The Jackson one is 90mm and a bit slower velocity, so it takes a bit longer to get across. And bounce. What was that? Yeah, just clip the top of the edge of the turret there. Gen's moving the Yak Panther up. And boom! Hit on the weapon. And that could actually be, it doesn't say penetrating hit, but that's got a big black hole in it, like a penetrating hit does, the decal for penetrating hits. So if we're lucky here, then the gun is out of action. And this has become a gigantic pillbox. And you see the rest of the shots just bouncing off the front. So that's interesting. You'll notice actually now that I've got, obviously this is quite a long time after we were doing these turns, and I've now got a gridded terrain mod on, just so I kind of get an idea, or a better idea of some of the distances. Like, for example, trying to work out the rate of advance of Gen's infantry as it goes down to the ford. You know, having a bit of a grid on the terrain is going to make that a lot easier to kind of eyeball, just to get some kind of indication. see what the other Jacksons are doing. So I'm going to be moving that one back because it is getting shot at, and it's done all it's going to be doing against that Jagdpanther, I think. And do you see anything? No, you don't. In fact, actually, with this Jackson, what we can see here is that there's been a bit of swapping about. So the loader and the gunner were killed or injured when that round hit the 50 cal box there. And what's happened is there's been some shuffling inside. The driver is still driving, and the loader and gunner positions have been occupied by the radio operator and the tank commander. And then Jackson number 3, the remaining Jackson here, we've just moved it up into this hold down position here, and yeah, just at the end of the turn there, it's just spotted one of the Panthers there. And you know, we're leaving the turn on another cliffhanger because it's aiming at it. Let's have a look at that from the Panther's point of view. So you can see that is a wow. That is a tiny target. I'm not even sure that the Jackson can actually hit it from there. Or if it does, it's like practically indirect fire, firing the shell up over the reverse slope. So that's going to be interesting. See if it can actually hit anything. And then finally we've got Jen's infantry running across here, so there's quite a lot of them. He's bounding from hedgeline to hedgeline towards the TRP, which is excellent. I think we've had a few kind of incidental casualties in the town as we're going on. Yeah. So cool. One last check of something before I stick it onto the fast forward. And yeah, 3 minutes we've got until the artillery comes in down here. It seems as though Jen has got a lot of troops quite close to that kind of area. We'll be I can't remember what I do with the orders. I think I might end up calling in some 81s there, just to head them off. There's certainly this this half track. We're going to nose that a little bit further forward so that it can put some fire down on the TRP, just to slow Jen's troops down a bit more, and then yeah, of course, this half track, which is I've tried to move up through the town, does not like confined spaces. Apparently, doesn't want to go down here, so I'm going to be shuffling that round this way, up by the church where it sort of has a good view down there. And obviously, that's the big thing right now. We've got the usual anti-tank stuff going on, and then we've got this new development where I need to stop Jen getting across this bridge. So I'm willing to expend some, you know, stick the noses of the half tracks out a little bit, where, you know, they could well be exposed to the Panthers and Jen's support up there, but I need to get fire down on there to slow his troops down and stop him getting across. So yeah, there we go. Hope you're still enjoying all this, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one, which also has mic problems because I'm a moron. So we'll be doing this again. Bye.